let's start this. Let's get the show started. Hi everyone, welcome back to a new week of stream from Zenbird, from Zenway's channel. What we do on this channel is share the weekly news coming up from Japan about sustainability. We'll cover a number of topics, from circular economy to women's wellness, whatever catches our eye. And for this week, we have prepared 3 articles. Now, I stopped at 3. We could have gone to 4 and 5, but today is going to be a short stream. 6:30, my media is going to have a company-wide meeting, and we will not be able to do the whole gamut of articles. So we picked the 3 probably shortest that we can cover within this 30 minutes before I have to quickly log off and join the preparations. But before I start, I really want to share this because I saw this the other day, which I think is useful. Let me get this down. Okay, that's in Japanese, but I can. So this was released on the 12th of April, and on Tuesday, and there has been a lot of earthquakes, of course on varying scales. I think the guitar music is a bit loud. Okay. Let's continue. And there has been a lot of earthquakes, and what this article says, there has been earthquakes of magnitude 4 and above. So this BuzzFeed, as usual, puts out a lot of interesting content, and this is one of those that's very useful. And it was released by one of the police officers. What do you do? What is your preparation like for disasters? If you meet with disasters, what can you do? What can you prepare? And it's amazing because you just need this police officer has come out a list of 11 items that you can put in a 500 ml bottle. So what does it has? It has a whistle. It has a towel, a compressible towel, etiquette bag, which I think for your like toilet paper, your toothbrush and whatnot. So there's mini light, so a torchlight to use, and small vinyl plastic bags. Some medicine in case you are injured or you get sick. Of course, alcohol swabs. And then you have food. You have what we have yokan. These are really small sugar-based sweets, and they can actually last 1 or 2 meals in case of emergency. It's not healthy. It's not really on the healthy scale. It's not nutritious, but the sugar content high carbohydrates will be able to tide through emergencies, and of course some cash. And if you look at all this, they can squeeze into one bottle, which I think is really good. One of the things that when you are living in Japan in disaster prone areas, what you always have is have a sack that you can last for 1 or 2 days. Now those are quite substantial. It can get quite heavy. We're talking about food for maybe like 6 days, water for 2 days. For 6 meals, food for 6 meals, which means for 2 days. The whole idea is to make sure you have enough supplies to last 2 days to get to an evacuation point, a safe point. And I was amazed by this because this is even easier. If you cannot get that bag going, this is going to be very useful. It's useful for me because I'm moving from point to point, so I can't really say I can prepare a disaster pack. Whereas a 500 ml bottle, this is something I can really look into, and I thought it was amazing. It's compact, and it's just enough. Probably just 1 day. 1 day supply is enough. I'll share that because that's so useful. Okay. Give me a moment while video setting is kind of off. Give me a moment. I think the video. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna disconnect and reconnect back. The video setting is wrong, so I'm gonna come back soon. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for that. Yeah. The video setting was on a different setting because I was doing another video recording. Now everything is back, and the browser is no longer freezing. We had this problem for the past few weeks, but yeah, looks stable right now. So let's continue with this. So the first, as you can see from our list of articles that's on the right, we're doing our first articles about gender equality, about kutsu, and how Japan sees kutsu and gender expectations now. Now, kutsu is a movement that started in 2019. It's already 3 years ago. And it's really about, it was inspired from the Me Too movement. And the kutsu is trying to, question why do women have to wear a certain dress code when going to work, and that of course leads on the discussion about gender equality. And kutsu particularly questions why do women have to wear high heels to work? So let's jump into the article right now. In 2019, the kutsu movement became a hot topic in Japan. This was a wake-up call to the gender expectation that women should wear heels in general business settings. In these days of much discussion about gender equality and genderless fashion, the movement is gathering attention again. Here are some changes that have occurred in Japanese society since the kutsu movement started. Prime Minister and some major companies have indicated their support for kutsu. A Japanese woman named Yumi Ishikawa, now she started this kutsu movement, started this activity by sharing her story on Twitter. She collected signatures for an online petition and submitted over 18,000 signatures to the government in June 2021. That's last year, June. The number of signatures kept increasing and has exceeded 33,000. In response to the kutsu movement, a major telecommunications company, Docomo, in 2019, and two major airline firms, ANA and JL, these two are the two biggest airlines in Japan, in 2020, abolished their heel rules. Based on these corporate moves, the Prime Minister at the time, Shinzo Abe, said, "I would like to state clearly that we should not force women to suffer because of the way they dress when men and women do the same work." About 70% of people are critical of heel manners. According to a recent survey, when asked, "What do you think of the expectation that women must wear high-heeled shoes at work?" Nearly 70% of the total respondents expressed their opposition to this custom. Only 1.6% of the respondents were in favor. The kutsu movement may have helped people understand the essence of the issue. However, this movement has also attracted its share of criticism. Some critics remarked that wearing heels is a custom that we should follow. Those women are just being lazy because it's hard for them, what? Or why don't women just stop wearing heels if they don't want to wear them? It's not an obligation. Now you can see some of this feedback. They are debatable, highly debatable, I would say. And it really reflects the situation that's in Japan right now. And while the discussion for gender equality has been progressing, you can see some of this, some of these gaps that still needs to be addressed. Ishikawa said in response that some companies have rules that force women to wear heels. Even if there are no clear rules, many women feel forced to wear heels due to customs or unspoken rules. Kutu movement, an activity to realize diversity. Kutu is not a movement to abolish heels, but to argue that we should stop forcing women to wear specific items, including heels against their will. We should also not acknowledge the fact the obligation to wear heels makes it difficult for women to perform their duties and increases their risk of injury. Regardless of gender, there are probably people who feel oppressed by such stigma. Although the Kutu movement focuses on women's wellness, it is more fundamentally a movement to realize diversity. And I would say it's not just about diversity, it's about choice. Of course, it's not like this. Our audio writer here has said the movement is not to abolish heels. It is to bring to the point that there is some gender expectations at work, and do we really need them? If you want to wear heels, why not? That's good. But we really need to the ex-prime minister said, we should not force them to do it if it risks their health, if they don't want to do it. And that's the risk of the idea. Now, this is a short article, but the true point is to show a reflection. After 3 years, how is it like? And we can still see there are some gaps. The discussion hasn't moved too forward, but there are companies making the change already. And we have role models like our two big airline companies, ANA and JL, where their focus is customer service, customer facing, and they have said, you don't need to wear heels, and we need such role models, especially in Japan. Okay, let's go to our next article. Now, this article is about sustainable materials. It's also, a look at Japanese traditional crafts. Because if you have been following Zenbird's articles, what we actually found was that Japanese crafts, and I believe it's not just Japanese craft, if you look at traditional techniques, traditional crafts all over the world, they're usually sustainable. And this is definitely the case for washi, Japanese paper. Now we're going to look at why it's so good and what new ideas the advancement of Japanese society has created for the original technology to new technology that is still sustainable. Japan brings back washi as circular paper making with original technology. Paper has been an intimate part of Japanese life and culture for more than a millennium. Paper made by traditional Japanese methods is called washi. Handmade washi paper has a warm texture as well as resilience and durability that belies its remarkable thinness. People have cherished and treasured these qualities for centuries. Environmentally friendly traditional Japanese paper making. Washi is originally handmade from the bark of trees native to Japan, such as kozo and mitsumata, names of the species of trees. These trees have a fast growth cycle and can be harvested annually, so they do not contribute to rapid deforestation. That's why it's an environmentally friendly product. However, most of the paper produced in Japan today is Western paper, made primarily from wood pulp imported from the West, which is kind of strange if you think about it. Japan's land is, I believe, now I could be fact check this, but I think it's 70%, more than 70% covered in forests. Forestry has always been an issue in Japan. Recently, it has found a revitalization, but it has always been a problem because there's the demand for wood in Japan for Japanese wood has always been low, so no one is cutting the trees down, which means the forests are not maintained, and that causes problems like landslides. Disasters can happen if we don't maintain them. That's not so in the past because wood was highly used. For example, if you think about ancient houses, they're all made for wood or some form of organic plants. Let's continue with the article. So as you can see, handmade paper. This I would say how most I'm not too sure about the washi culture of how they are made, but the steps are roughly the same. So you can see in the picture, handmade paper is made by shaking it horizontally and vertically to make the fibers intertwine evenly. Washi upcycling initiatives attracting attention. Recently, Japanese companies are rediscovering the value of traditional papermaking and making new value in washi. In 2021, komekami, komekami when directly translated is rice paper. In 2021, Paparu, sounds like paper, but it's not. Paparu, Japanese companies that sells paper and paper products, has launched an initiative to change the large amount of food waste to be disposed of into something of value. The first product developed is komekami, rice paper, a food waste paper made from upcycled rice that would have been discarded. In fact, Japan has long had a culture of using rice for paper. Komekami is a traditional yet new material that uses innovative technology to revitalize an ancient Japanese culture. What's with this gap? Oh, okay. Sorry, it didn't load. It's an embedded post about komekami. Now, komekami doesn't have an Instagram account, so if you like to follow them, they're on Facebook and Twitter. Hanasaku Washi is another brand that we're introducing. Soup Inc. plans and develops eco-friendly and sustainable products and services, focusing on selling seed paper. Seed paper is an environmentally friendly paper made by straining seeds of various flowers and herbs into used paper waste, which sprouts when planted in the soil. Hanasaku washi to bloom, so Japanese paper to bloom, is a new type of seed paper made from 100% recycled paper from Japan, with traditional washi handmade techniques added. Even if it finishes its role as paper, it will continue to grow plants and return to the soil, realizing an excellent resource cycle. And that's where the circularity comes in. So we can make the paper. It comes from nature, and it's biodegradable, it's compostable, and it returns to the soil. And so we see this, return soil, grow new trees, and the trees can turn into new paper. And that's the circularity, the circular economy that we often talk about here in Zenbird. Continuing with the article. As you can see seed paper in pink and natural colors. Usually, there are a lot of techniques to make paper, to make washi. You can make a lot of patterns, all from organic materials, but usually they come in very soft colors like this. Washi takes a lot of time and effort to make, but because it is made of natural materials, once it is made, many will not likely deteriorate for more than 1,000 years. And you might think we are exaggerating. We are not. They last for centuries. So just now we talked that trees grow very fast. Now, if I'm not wrong, these trees can grow within 1 to 2 years. So for the resource that grows, it's a renewable resource that grows 1 to 2 years. And you can make paper out of them that is so durable, it lasts for centuries, even a millennium. And that's how powerful washi is. I think the whole world should, what is not washi is Japanese paper. I'm sure other cultures have ways of making paper. I think that kind of exchange with other cultures just to bring how to say wood paper back. I think it's going to be a very exciting thing, and definitely we're going to be cutting less trees just for wood pulp to make paper. Unsustainable. Sorry for the digression. Let's continue with the article. Producers should use creativity and technology to make paper to allow for the recycling of resources. And we as consumers should carefully check the raw materials, place of origin, and manufacturing process as responsible consumption to know what you're consuming, where it comes from, and what happens to it after this. Choosing paper that is truly environmentally friendly and purchasing only the amount we need can contribute to reducing wasteful consumption. I think it's a simple article, but it's very important to remind us that all techniques exist, and when we combine with modern technology, we can be very, very sustainable, and we will be helping to fight climate change. Okay, let's go to our next article. Now, this is an interview. This is an interview that I did in Kagawa Prefecture, right? At first, when I visited this cafe, it's a zero waste cafe. I gotta go and find out. But I realized, very often that we talk about zero waste. Oh, this is what we do to prevent waste. This is how we cut waste, how we reduce. But very seldom we see zero waste taught as a philosophy. And this is the interview that enlightened me to think about it. Okay. I will try to cover as much as I can. Time is running out. Okay, so let's jump into it. Zero Waste as Meguru. That's the name. Zero Waste Cafe Meguru. Zero Waste as Meguru's starting point for a sustainable community. Southwest of Takamatsu City in Kagawa Prefecture is Ayagawa Town. Nearing Meguru Zero Waste Cafe, you can see the distant urban sprawl under a blue sky. The cafe's location offers its unique flavor of scenery to its guests. We meet Toyo Miyoshi, owner and inspiring figure of Meguru, which offers several sustainable services to promote an eco lifestyle and sustainable living. I'll explain what kind of service they have later. Miyoshi is also currently a member of the town council of Ayagawa town. So in some way, he's a politician, and it matters. This information matters later too. He is a forward-thinking leader, envisioning a self-sufficient local government that can be a model for other local governments to mimic. One essential method is to study the past wisdom available in Japanese history, especially the relationship between community and nature that is forgotten and will require recovery. So this is him. He's a politician, and he's very friendly figure, which makes it really easy to approach him. As if I'm a resident of the town. And he's a player of these instruments too. We'll talk about this later. Toyo Miyoshi and Meguru. Meguru consists of 4 aspects. The Zero Waste Cafe provides organic food that shares a zero waste concept. It also has an organic farm, partly providing Meguru Zero Waste Cafe's menu. There is also a guest house that focuses on sustainability. Last but not least, music events which marked the beginnings of Meguru. Now, Miyoshi had an early start when compared to his peers in the so-called sustainable realm. He learned about the importance of circularity in economics and is familiar with environmental policy. Therefore, he is acutely aware of the priorities of sustainability towards nature. He also has experience in the ethical fashion business, owning a line of clothes that uses sustainable materials such as hemp and organic cotton and natural dyeing techniques. Years later, he started meguru. Now you can see this is a very simple place. I'll leave you to discover this, but there is a very simple thing. He applies just enough. You don't need excess to make this place work. And when I was there, I felt that. My grandfather had a metal casting factory, which we renovated into an event and music space. I also inherited my grandmother's home. These two became places of belonging where our children traveled back and forth. We then expanded the idea and started the cafe. Now you can see one can see the effort Meguru Zero Waste Cafe puts towards sustainability. This includes buying directly from local farmers for ingredients, thus supporting local economy and reducing transport emissions, reducing food waste by turning them into feed for animals, and installing a compost toilet. There is even upcycling, as waste materials from a previous fire accident are kept for use, like bonfires. Okay, so this is where we go into the zero waste philosophy. We want to promote an awareness about waste, but that is not our final target. It is creating a virtuous cycle of positivity. Miyoshi wants to create an enduring and resilient philosophy through zero waste, which will stand unchanged against the battering of time. Physical materials will change. Plastic may have a long lifespan. Radioactive plutonium. I'm cutting the article short because we're running out of time. Jump to the sweet call. Radioactive plutonium may have a long life, but it eventually decays. So, what he's saying is philosophy doesn't change, and he wants to set that kind of philosophy. And Meguru's Zero Waste Cafe's core philosophy is to accept changes and make things better. Small changes to create a virtuous cycle. He hopes to inspire all customers to begin thinking about waste and environment, and the cafe becomes that opportunity. We can create good circulation away from bad circulation from small changes, he said. For example, picking up garbage to recycle. So imagine if everyone on this planet picks up one garbage, that's more than 7 billion garbage picked and recycled. We can create positivity that leads to many virtuous cycles of environmental action. No one is perfect, but we can all make small changes. And zero waste leads us back to nature. If we look at ourselves from outer space, human beings are part of nature. Now, he really just says what we really need to hear again. We've been in Zenbird's seminars, in interviews, we always come back to this point. Humans are part of nature, not a separate identity. Now, he shared what he witnessed. He used to spend time in an Africa village where economic development was prioritized over environment and people's welfare. So he knows the impact. The village I stayed in had a small population of 2,000. It didn't have quick access to convenient amenities like water and electricity, but the village was self-sufficient. Unfortunately, a gold mine was later discovered in the vicinity, leading to mining activities. The sound of nature was replaced by heavy vehicles. Musical instruments were replaced by mobile devices. The village was happier before the discovery of gold. So the discovery of gold led to, like a better word, downfall of a village. They lose their culture. They lose what was important to them. And we know that development for materialistic purposes harms nature and society. We've seen that even in Japanese history. Now, there is one group of organizations that starts taking over. We are akin to living organizations that live into our bodies, a part of whole. So imagine one group of organisms start taking over our body, not for the benefit of other organisms, but the whole body, for its own survival. And we call that a virus. And Miyoshi reminds us that we need to be more than being a virus. Our mindsets need to shift from not from of a man versus nature or man controlling nature, but as a man part of nature. So one way to reconnect with nature is through zero waste. That's where the philosophy comes in, because there's no such thing as waste in nature's ecosystem. If you really think about it, there's no waste. There's always something going back into the life cycle, right? So we can take a step towards positivity by putting positivity into our lives against the negativity that exists. Sorry. Okay. And what he says is, negativity will always be around us, but we should choose to take the positive side. Through it, we will improve ourselves and develop our goals. So we also think about, Japanese, when they interact with nature, is always about improving themselves. And there's this spiritual side that I think that forms the basis of why ancient old Japan was so sustainable, that it was able to create its own circular economy. Now, time is kind of running out, so I will go to our closing. You can read the rest of the articles. It's really good read because it shows us zero waste as a philosophy that you can use in your own lives. Meguru is the start of a connection for a sustainable community. Now, the developed drums that Miyoshi plays is actually quite important because it represents a tool to connect people, to create an opportunity for people to gather, sing, and dance. And that's why their music events are so popular. And it's a sacred ritual about community bonding rather than entertainment through singing and dancing. Yeah. So beyond performance for entertainment, it is a platform where connections are created. And that is the starting point of Meguru, a foundation of communities that starts with the right steps towards a sustainable community and eventually a sustainable city, and that's where we connect. He is a politician that is trying to bring this philosophy into the town. And it's very important. It's one of the good things about this because Japan is sometimes quite behind in a way. So it's good that someone is pushing for all these sustainable concepts. And feel free to visit Meguru Zero Waste Cafe if you are in Kagawa Prefecture. Okay, I'm sorry we have to rush and stop this, but we still have remaining articles. I was thinking of doing another stream, a part 2 stream, just to share, and it's going to be the next article is going to be very useful. It helps us identify what businesses are sustainable. We'll let you know. We'll do some posts on our Facebook and Twitter to let you know when is the next one coming up. Okay. And this is where we cut it. Now remember, this is Friday. Remember to recharge. Recharge is very important. And fight the good fight. But don't forget your well-being. We'll see you when we see you.